republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. Any additions, changes, or deletions? And I do have an addition that I would like to add under new business, item G, the Makota Reconciliation and Healing Horse Ride that is scheduled for December 18th or 19th. So item G under new business, Makota Reconciliation and Healing Horse Ride. Any other changes, additions, or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that addition.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. The consent agenda. The consent agenda contains the following items for approval: the November 18th, 2024 regular meeting minutes, the payment of claims, listing of bills, and the 2025 liquor license renewals and dance permit requests. And a motion is called for the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? And that consent agenda includes all the licenses that are presented for 2025.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Community concerns. Was there anyone signed in for community concerns, Deb?
No one has signed in and never received any phone calls or emails.
Okay, thank you. Bid openings for North Hiawatha Ag Land. The council will open and award bids to rent the North Hiawatha land for the next 3 years. The property consists of approximately 45 acres in the west one half of the east one half of Section 1, Township 106, Range 46 in the city of Pipestone. And Deb, I'll turn this over to you to open those bids if we have any.
Yes, we have 4 for the North Hiawatha Ag Land. And the first one is from Brad Isle. And his bid is $226 per acre. Brad Isle, $226. Second bid we have is from Rogan Smith, $265 per acre. Rogan Smith, $265. Third bid is from Brian Kramer, $270 per acre. Brian Kramer, $270 per acre. And let's see here. Final bid received, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure. Is from Scott Zeeby, $261.55 per acre, $261.55, Scott Zeeby. So it looks like the largest bid received is $270 per acre from Brian Kramer from Pipestone, Minnesota, North Hiawatha land.
And that's a 3-year contract, like I had stated earlier. I'd entertain a motion at this time with this information.
To approve the bid.
Well, if I would entertain a motion for,
To approve Brian Kramer's, the 270.
we have a motion to approve Brian Kramer as a renter at $270 per acre. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you.
All right, the second.
Next up is Lagoon Hay Land, and Deb, I'll let you explain that area and we'll open the bids for that if there are any.
And this is for the lagoon land, 3 years, as Dan said. We got 2 bids on that.
And that is basically hay land,
Correct.
26.93 acres.
And I got the first bid from Alan Jones, 91.75 per acre. Again, Alan Jones, 91.75 per acre. Better not cut it. Second bid, this one's really sealed, is from Rogan Smith, 91.50 per acre. Rogan Smith, 91.50 per acre. Wow, that was close. Highest bid goes to Alan Jones. Well, I shouldn't say goes to. The highest bid was Alan Jones at 91.75 per acre.
So only 2 bids on that.
Only 2 bids on that one.
And I'm going to read that property description into the record. The property consists of approximately 26.93 acres in the northwest quarter of Section 15 and approximately 11.92 acres in the south 1/2 of Section 15 in Township 106, Range 46 in the county of Pipestone. So I'd entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make the motion. Accept the high bid for Alan Jones at 91.75 an acre. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. And motion carries. Truth in taxation, this is for information, okay. Yeah, for information only at this point. A meeting is held as part of the budget process to take comment from the public on the proposed 2025 budget and levy. And the date and time of that truth in taxation meeting, Deb,
Is right now.
is right now. So I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing for our truth and taxation meeting.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. So our public meeting is open at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Dan said, right now is the time for just a very short presentation on our truth and taxation. We put this together. The budget process, the department heads began developing their proposed budgets in July, and then they were reviewed with city staff, which consisted of Stephanie LeBrun, Jody Jensen, and myself. And then the council reviewed the proposed budget in September and adopted the preliminary levy with the general tax levy of $1,676,409, debt service levy of $1,216,897, with a total preliminary levy of $2,893,306, approximately an 7.9% increase. The council met with staff on November 4th during a work session, and we were able to review, we were able to reduce the tax levy at that time to 5.8%. The Truth and Taxation public meeting is held right now, December 2nd, and then the final levy must be certified to the county by December 30th. The preliminary levy again was voted on by the council at $2,893,306. $1,216,897 of the proposed levy is debt service, and the debt service is needed to cover payments due from infrastructure projects. And as Rebecca had stated in a previous meeting of the council during a work session, some capital equipment purchases as well. And the remaining $1,676,409 of the proposed levy is to help fund, as you can see, the city council, city administrative staff and financial staff, city streets, parks, recreation department, water department, law enforcement, fire department, community library, the senior center, economic development authority, and city buildings. Local government aid provides support to the following funds: the general fund, the recreation fund, and the street fund. And since the LGA supports these funds, these are the funds that is looked at to reduce the levy. In 2025, the city will receive a total of $2,752,153, which is a slight increase of $4,092 over 2024. Where we stand today, the proposed levy has been reduced approximately reduced to 5.4%, which is $1,593,198. That's a general tax levy. The debt service levy of 1 million, that stayed the same, 216,897, for a total levy of $2,810,095. As we had our meeting previously at 5 o'clock to discuss the financial management plan, Rebecca Kurtz from Ellers, who is our financial consultant, shared with us the actual dollar impact versus the percentage. The preliminary levy that was approved by the council in September at the $2,893,306 at the 7.9% would have a dollar impact of a dollar increase annually of $24.25, and our revised levy at that 5.4% at $2,810,095 would actually be a decrease in a homeowner's valued home of $150,000 of $2.81. So I'm actually sharing a PowerPoint presentation at the revised levy at a 5.4%, but the council can consider sticking with the 7.9% preliminary levy that they did approve in September if they so choose. If they do decide to choose to stick with their preliminary levy that they approved in September of 2024, this would provide an additional $94,000 in cash to the general fund. Also, the council is ready, if they are ready, could approve their 2025 proposed budget, which includes a $31,163 increase for law enforcement, $50,000 for blight for city properties, $100,000 transfer to the water fund from the general fund for PFA replacement fund and negative cash. Debt service levy will go down $48,853. It includes a 2.7% increase in the cost of living adjustment for all employees, includes a 0% increase in health care insurance for full-time employees, and includes a $50,000 transfer from liquor to rec, and includes a $232,000 for engineering fees for the Safe Routes to School project for 2025. The budget dollar amount pretty much stays the same, so the impact, whether you stick with the 7.9% increase or the 5.4% levy increase, the budget dollar amount pretty much stays the same. It's a minimal impact on the budget dollar increase. Wanted to share a few of the large accomplishments from 2024. We completed the 2023 street and utility project. Quick Trip opened their doors on last Friday, November 29th. We received an $800,000 Safe Routes to School grant to install a much needed sidewalk in the northwest area of Pipestone where none exists, which helps to address the safety concerns in that area. And this also is a critical link to the whole city trails plan. And then we did complete the sale of the land to the Horde Farms for their personal truck wash. Moving into 2025, as we move into 2025, some things to begin to consider, and we had some discussion on this before, the concrete water tower rehabilitation, the Carnegie Library building rehabilitation renovations, the future of the City Hall, new recreation center, new liquor store, aquatic facility updates, and soccer field complex expansion. And to just take that just a little bit further, the soccer field complex expansion. Earlier in the year, Mayor Delaney, Councilmember Colbeck, Assistant City Administrator Stephanie LeBrun, and myself met with the school. When we talk about the expansion of the soccer field, there's only really one way into the soccer field and one way out. And for safety reasons, we'd like to create a one-way in, another way out, just for bad weather. So we have a way to get in and another way out. So we've been working with the city engineer, Travis Winter, on that to devise a way to come in one way, go out another way. And that alleviates any bottlenecking or any jam ups trying to get people and the kids safely into the complex and out during bad weather. So looking at that in the soccer field complex, kind of landlocked. And so we kind of want to open that area up as well. So that's it.
Okay, well, thank you,
Any-
Deb. Any questions
any
or
questions?
comments from the council?
I got one comment on the cost of living. You got it down at 2.7, wasn't it 2.5 for next year?
The cost of living for Social Security increase is 2.5%, but it was in the budget for 2.7 on the
Okay,
preliminary
will
levy.
that get changed to 2.5 then?
The council historically has approved whatever the Social Security
Yeah, that's
in the first meeting of the year.
okay.
It's a
That was
council
my question,
decision.
yeah.
It was just in the budget at 2.7.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yep.
make sure that was clarify that. Do you have any estimated, see the Quick Trip will be added to the tax value. Is there any estimated tax value or what the value of the property is going to be estimated at, or is that not public information yet?
Well, I asked Rebecca that question earlier before we started the previous meeting, and as she said, we won't know anything till it'll be added on. Rebecca, if you would like to step up and speak to that, that would be great.
When we discussed it this morning, I am not sure where the county is going to come in on that, as far as the value. It will be assessed in January of 25, so the city will see the benefit, or full benefit of it in tax year 26.
Okay. All right, just curious. So,
Good
thank you.
question. I don't want to guess though.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions, comments from the council? Jay, I did see you come into the meeting. We are in the middle of a truth and taxation meeting at this point, and so it is open to the public for comment. And if you're just here to observe, or if you want to take time to comment, you certainly can. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make that offer because I know you weren't here when we opened the meeting. So, but we are in an open meeting. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions on the truth and taxation? So hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to close our public meeting, or public hearing, I should say.
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close public hearing for the truth and taxation meeting. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And motion carries. Thank you. Next up is legal, ordinance 162 4th series. This ordinance needs to be introduced to name the former County Road 67 to 2nd Avenue Northeast. And I would introduce this ordinance at this time. Engineering, airfield pavement crack repair, pay request number 2. And that's a final pay request. Travis, I'll turn that over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This is the simply releasing the retainage on the project. The contractor, Struck and Irwin Paving, completed this work back in September. They have submitted their final paperwork, allowing this to be closed out and the funding finalized for it. So at this time, we do recommend payment to the contractor in the amount of $4,199.42.
All right. Any questions, comments?
That will include the retaining, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve that payment of $4,199.42.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Thank you. New business, schedule a special meeting if necessary to continue the truth and taxation public meeting, and I would say it's not necessary at this point.
Not necessary.
So we'll move on. Resolution 2024-59. This resolution is to adopt the final tax levy payable 2025. And a resolution will be available here at the council meeting. So This is where we have two options, or is that the next
Yep.
one? Okay,
Which one would you like to approve?
well, I would open the, for a motion at this point.
Well, I'd
5.4.
I'd make a motion for the 5.4% for the reason that we went back to a lot of the department heads and tried to get them to help to reduce the budget, and if we're not gonna follow their recommendations, then we waste a lot of people's time, so.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And I guess I would just comment that the biggest change was the fact that we had budgeted originally for an increase in our health insurance. And fortunately, that didn't come in at the increase that we thought it would. So that was part of the change between 7.9 and 5.4. Was there any other changes by individual departments to get us to that 5.4, Deb?
There was a change from, at the recreation department level, the recreation director, Robert Peterson, had requested a 20% increase for the part-time staff. And after doing a wage study for that, it didn't warrant 20%, so that got reduced to 2.7. And then in the street department, there was some changes made, reductions made in the street department
Okay,
as well.
all right. Any other questions on the proposed budget? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2024-60. This resolution adopts a 2025 budget. And I'd entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024 dash, it'd be, is it 60? Is that the one, the correct one?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Comments? And this resolution, if adopted, is to be resolved with the City Council of the City of Pipestone, Minnesota, that on the 2025 fiscal year budget be adopted as presented with revenues of $13,681,313 and expenditures of $14,288,648. That's the motion on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2024-61. Several donations have come in for the City of Pipestone Hiawatha Pageant Park Committee with their Lights at the Lodge event and the Farmers Market Senior Pops Club. And I'll read those donations at this time. For the Lights at the Lodge, Kevin and Barb Paulson, $50. Hartquist Funeral Home Incorporated, Pipestone Chapel, $100. Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company, $100. Sons of the American Legion Squadron Number 6, $150. The Windy Ridge Veterinary Clinic, PLLC, $200. Double D Gravel Inc., $200. And First Farmers and Merchants Bank, $250. Also, we had from the Farmers Market Senior Pops Club, the Buckwheat LLLP Pipestone Helping Farmers, $500. I'd entertain a motion to accept these donations.
Accept the donation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? And I'd just like to publicly thank these people and these organizations for their generous donations. The Light at the Lodge event is a very popular event. And also our farmers market is becoming more and more popular as time goes on and products are available there. So certainly both very nice community organizations and events that people expect to have and certainly enjoy. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Resolution 2024-62. This resolution is stating that there's funding available for the Carnegie Library project from the State Capital Grant and Aid County and Local Preservation Grant Program administered by the Minnesota Historical Society in the amount of $122,162. By adopting this resolution, the city is agreeing to match up to $126,162 for the project and complete the project if the total exceeds the proposed $122,162 grant amount. And I'd entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion, we table it. Second.
Okay, we have to have a date if we're going to table something. So you should have a date on your motion.
I'll make a motion, we table it until the first meeting in January.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table this resolution 2024 until our first meeting in January. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion? Deb, does this jeopardize our chances for the grant by delaying this?
No, the grant period for the activity is June 1st, 2024 to December 1st, 2025. So
Okay,
we should be fine.
we would be eligible if we decide to go that way.
I just have a
Right.
question. If
Yep.
we decide to accept this, are we under obligation to complete the project after that point?
I'd have to read through the grant.
Okay,
First,
I'd
yeah.
like to know.
I'd like to have Jason look at it
Yeah,
too.
please.
Yeah. We had the previous discussion at our previous work session on this building. Just get some further dollar amounts to make sure. And I believe, Scott, is that the reason for, just
Yeah.
to make sure?
To get total dollar figures and updated dollar figures.
Yeah. And then I can send the grant to, it's with the state, but send it to Jason just to make sure, if that's all right. Dan and council, if that's okay with the rest of you.
Yeah, any other questions, comments? Okay, motion on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. Item G, and that's the Makota Reconciliation and Healing Horse Ride, and that's scheduled to come through Pipestone on December 18th or possibly December 19th. The schedule actually says the 18th, but of course we want to leave some room in there just in case there's issues that come up along the line. They're starting out with their horse ride in Fort Thompson, Crow Creek, South Dakota, and they'll be stopping in Wessington Springs, Woonsocket, Howard, South Dakota, Coleman, South Dakota, Flandreau, South Dakota, Pipestone, and then from Pipestone they'll move on to I believe it's Slayton, Westbrook, Jeffers, Petroglyphics area there, and ultimately end up in the Reconciliation Park in Mankato. And this is a spiritual ride put on by the Makota natives, and they are asking that they could ride their horses down Main Street when they come through our area. And we would need council approval to possibly have the SO block off a street or at least be available to assist with traffic control in that area at that time.
What days are these?
It's December 18th.
What days?
Wednesday.
Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah, it's
what
during the
day.
week. And the amount of riders would be yet to be determined. We don't know if it's, 10 horses or 200 horses. We have no idea at this
But
point.
it'll be just just a few minutes.
Yeah, they
More
would
Right.
spend the
likely.
night here and ride through the area and then move on to the next stop. So,
They're not, Dave said maybe 40 horses,
okay,
if that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're not sure what time they're actually gonna arrive, and they're gonna stay overnight at the campground, or not the campground,
Fairgrounds.
fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds,
Fairgrounds, yeah,
right.
and they would just like to ride down Main Street.
And this is open to the public also.
Right,
So
correct.
if someone locally wanted to join in, be a part of the ride, you can certainly start at the beginning in Fort Thompson and ride the whole ride to Mankato, or you can just ride a couple of miles. There is no obligation on the length of time that you can ride. They're opening it up to anyone who would like to join them. So,
We just don't know what time they'll be here. We won't know that
right, there's
until they
some
get
variables there
closer.
yet, but as that time comes closer, once they're in Flange, we're gonna be able to get it pretty close when they're gonna be here. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the request to allow them to drive or ride their horses down Main Street.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no, and motion carries. Next up is closing comments. Is there any closing comments? I guess I would just comment, I'd like to thank staff for the presentation on the budget. It's a long, lengthy process. And we did come up with a decision that we will work forward with at this point. And I'd also like to thank the council members for their input and discussion, and also the decisions that they make on a daily basis, basically. So, thank
like-
you.
I'd like to remind everyone, this Friday is the Holidazzle Parade. Is that what it's called?
Well, I don't know if that's the official name.
I don't know.
No,
what-
it's not.
I don't think it is. Holiday Parade? Merry and Bright
Mer-
Parade?
Yeah, the Merry and Bright Parade.
Mary
of
and
Lights.
Bright Parade of Lights.
5:30?
Yes.
think it's at 5:30?
They start up at 5.
Yep.
The parade starts at 5:30, and they'll go down Main Street and down Hiawatha and end up at the courthouse there, and the county has something going on there. So,
And then Saturday morning here in the mall area at the city office building here from 10 to noon, Santa's workshop. Santa will be here. And so just want to remind everyone of those festivities this weekend, Friday
Yeah.
and Saturday.
all right. Okay. Hearing no other closing comments, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Have a good night.